So as a little bit of a recap, last time things started out with a colony incident that unfortunately sucked because the engineering team experienced a resource shortage while building something for El Presidente and as well as the upgraded science lab. But it also had El Prez reunite with an old friend who gave him a case full of data drives while Simone went on some more prospecting missions. Albert called for a staff meeting to discuss the ongoing security issues with Terra Nova, with plans being made to petition Sector Administrator Ashby for additional financial and material support. Weeks later, an escape pod carrying defecting Yutani employees crashed north of the colony, and it was learned from their de facto leader that they defected after learning of a sinister Yutani plot. They have information on a data drive that they want to get off world, and especially where Yutani is potentially closing in on them, they're that much more desperate to get going. And where we last left off was basically you guys got back to the colony with Jennifer McLean, the leaders, quote unquote, of the survivors. And what are you guys doing now? Because I believe, I mean, there were talks of how, like, of questioning her, and if that's what you guys
Yes.
want to do, then yeah, you can like escort her down to the marshals, like the security station, if you want to question her.
Shall we do that, Albert? Get to the bottom of this to have a private chat with our new guests.
Yes, we'll want to get the observer ready while we're doing that, though. Who is working on that?
Well, did you radio ahead to get people working on that? I mean, if even if you didn't, it's not really much of a stretch to say that once you get back to the colony, you could, like, you or El Presidente or whoever could make that call to have a team put together to crew the observer.
Yes, we'll need someone to organize the observer for takeoff, or for its travels. Just trying to see
Hmm.
who's here.
If we are taking, I mean, I was concerned about the security issue, but having checked with the onboard computer and making sure that only our people can access it, yeah, it seems we shouldn't have a problem. But I will reluctantly agree to having some of our people for the journey if you deem it necessary as a security question. But if we're already doing such a thing, we should be certain that we have the right trusted people for the job.
I just need someone to take point and organize it. So I will, as we're getting back to the colony, I think I will go talk to Alexandra and basically ask her to take the lead on organizing the picking the crew and everything like that.
Okay, so I'll just handle that first. So you get back to the security station, and I'm assuming you're also bringing Jennifer over there to talk to her, or are you gonna bring her somewhere else?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll say that I just,
We'll put
Dustin
her in
will,
like the nice interview
yeah,
room.
yeah, not like a CD like interrogation like questioning room.
No.
So Dustin, he sort of takes the initiative to, help, make sure she's settled in nicely and feels like more like, like a guest rather than a prisoner, and um, gets her and her her comrades, something to eat and that kind of thing. Just basically keeping them occupied while you're talking to Alexandra. So Alexandra basically she gets like a clipboard and has like referencing a personnel list. So the question is, so basically what you would need like bare minimum for the journey would be um like a pilot obviously, and then a an engineer in case the ship needs any kind of repairs or something goes wrong. Um, Security personnel, she says, kind of tapping her pens, like, do you think we should put some security personnel on the list?
I guess I'll ask her. Well, they'll be in cryo, or they should be in cryo the whole trip. But I think I would feel better if there was at least one or two. Are any of our personnel due for a rotation back to Earth?
No, not at this time anyway.
Let me out of character. I have a list of people. Let me refer to that really quick. We can discuss something else.
Okay.
You can talk with another character.
Well, I was gonna say also, I mean, if any other characters wanted to, like any other players wanted to chime in for recommendations of personnel, you can.
Conrad will just kind of whisper to Albert. Of course, this is your department, so you know the people here best. But just in case, I hope that you can choose somebody you trust enough. And then he kind of whispers even quieter, just in case we don't have another Sparrow situation, if you understand. Or
Yes. I have a question, like out of character. So, how would people on the colony, I guess, view being put on this assignment? Like, would they see it as negative because they have to be in cryo and waste a bunch of time, or would it be like, hey, I get to be in cryo and I still get paid? Like,
I mean, if you're
I'm
still
just
paying them, then they'd be fine with it. Like it's basically like paid time off because all they really have to do is spend most of the journey in cryo sleep. And the thing about it is also, you do have a couple of dedicated pilots. Like for example, one of them I mentioned, I don't remember what her name was, but I know it's on the list. I think it was named NPCs miscellaneous. Ashley Zanelli is like the sort of de facto main pilot, at least prior to like not counting the Wildcatters and Richard. Um, so Zanelli is a versatile pilot. You could send her on the mission. Um, You could also, I mean, engineer wise, I mean, you don't have to send Danny. There are plenty of like miscellaneous engineers who could be like handpicked for the assignment. Um, and yeah, so like basically the bare minimum you would need conceivably would be like a pilot and an engineer, and then
so. I
potentially
think,
security personnel in case either the ship gets boarded or for some reason anybody on the ship tries anything.
yeah, I think I maybe send like 2 security personnel.
Okay.
if
Do you
you
have any
say so.
preference of who?
What's the travel time to Earth and back? Is it like
Um,
6 months?
well, let's see. So because it is dependent on the FTL rating of the ship, which I'm trying to. So Heliades SEV. So the FTL rating is 52, and I think you multiply that by the number of parsecs, right?
Exactly.
The stars in the middle heavens. So I'll pull us over to this map for just a sec so you can see. Um, so KOI-416 is over here, and it's basically a straight
Hmm.
line down to Earth. So you're 6. So there 1, 2, 3, 4. So that'd be 6, and then so 6 times I think I said 52 or 50. Yeah,
Yeah.
52. So 6
Yeah.
times 52 would be, oh my, 312 days just to get there.
Well,
Just a
so
smidge.
shouldn't the rating isn't the rating higher is better?
No, it's the opposite. It's
Lower is
Oh,
better.
opposite proportionally. And
Because
since we are
basically,
in the early timeline, that's why things are so slow.
yeah, exactly. I remember it took the Prometheus 3 years to reach LV-223, which for reference is the
right.
same system as LV-426. Um,
Yep.
but that was in 2093, whereas in Aliens, it took the Sulaco supposedly just like a few weeks to get from Earth to LV-426.
Okay, so the
Yeah.
speed rating is like parsecs per
Well, no,
days per parsec, basically.
yeah, so basically you
Basically, yeah.
multiply the number of parsecs you're traveling by the FTL rating of the ship. So the Heliades has 52. You're traveling 6 parsecs, so you multiply 52 by 6, that's
Okay.
312 days.
Is there a closer Weyland colony we could send them to?
Um,
Hmm.
Theoretically, yes. I mean, it would still probably be in a straight line. I would say maybe. Well, Albert, you were at Ruby Colony, right? So,
I have no. I
oh,
have no idea.
well, I'm pretty sure you. I think that was part of your backstory we discussed. So, I mean, you could Ruby Colony is a Weyland colony, and it's about
Yeah,
halfway
yeah.
to Earth. So, like, you could so you'd be going 1, 2, 3. I count diagonal as like basically you're going to here, and then you're going here, and then you're going here, and hold on, I got a fucking Facebook message. Okay,
Yeah,
so that would
cutting it
basically
in
be,
half would be, yeah,
so you're cutting it down by half, so 52 by 3, that would be 156 days. It would effectively still be about a year round trip,
round trip.
but it's going to be better than 2 years total.
Right. Okay. So how about we do that? And I think maybe we had discussed like that was my backstory when I joined. I just don't remember.
No, that's okay. I'm just reminding you.
Um, but yeah, like we can maybe assume that I know a contact there, like someone working in the colony, and I trust them.
Yeah.
And so I'll basically tell Conrad, well, we can cut down our travel time if we just send them as far as Ruby Colony. I have some contacts there, and we'll get our ship and personnel back in half the time.
Great thinking. Great thinking. That will be a lot more efficient. Agreed. Agreed. Good suggestion. But
So
since,
the
but
two
since,
people,
uh,
the
I
security people I will suggest would be Kent Brackett and Amelia Riley.
Okay. So let's see. So security team. So Riley and Kent are going on the mission. I'm assuming Zanelli's going to be the pilot.
Yeah, and we'll send Zanelli and whoever random
Okay,
engineer
so
person.
yeah, so just a generic engineer. So let's see, miscellaneous citizens. So Zanelli is the pilot, and then I'll just use this generic token to represent the engineer. So you're sending 2 officers, Zanelli, and then a random engineer. So
hey Albert, I just got an idea. Why not? Since we're already searching for an efficient route, why not? How they say, kill two birds with one stone. Why not use this voyage since we're already sailing setting a ship to go to a Weyland outpost, basically? Why not send our imprisoned Siegson people? We agreed that we were going to hand them over to Weyland eventually, but instead of waiting for another ship to come by, we can use this as a way to get them there sooner, which I'm sure the company would appreciate. What do you think about that?
Yes, I think that's an excellent idea. Rather than waiting on the next regular colony transport scheduled, we can get them there quicker
Mhm. All right.
and with more discretion.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like the way you're thinking. Okay.
so I'm just dragging the away team, including the prisoners, over here. So just for visual aid, and then there would be just one generic mercenary as well. So I might as well just get his token. Let's see, there we go. So, and the ship has more than enough functionality and capacity to be able to sustain all these people, both in cryo and out. So, okay. So you've got your, I mean, is that the finalized list for the away team?
So
All the
I'm
people
think
we sent
so. I
out?
think we've got 4 crew. We've got the 3 Siegson prisoners and
Well,
what, like
four,
5?
because remember Dave Andrews, the drug dealer, that you said you were going to send him back as well?
Right, right.
Yes.
That's four. And then you've got Jennifer and her compatriots, that's five, so that's a total of 13 people.
Yeah.
Do you think our setup crew is sufficient there? That that's it then?
Just give me a second. I'm just taking notes here.
Sure.
No problem.
I'll also drag Jennifer and her companions over to represent that.
And how many other scientists did Jennifer have? Like 4?
Yeah, Jennifer, when she, there were 6 people, including Jennifer, on the in the escape pod, but one of them was killed, so it's a total of 5.
Okay.
So Jennifer and then
Gen
4
plus
other
4.
people. Yeah.
So, I mean, looking at the crew here, I mean, the ones I'd be most concerned about being a problem would be the Sieg and Son prisoners. So maybe we could add like one more random security officer.
Okay.
Okay, why not? If you say so.
Anybody in particular, or you want me to just pick one?
No, just pick a random.
Okay, so let me go to see security team. Let's say Anglehorn. Why not? So, all right. Okay, so that's a total of 14, which is again still within capacity. So,
A good number. I think that should be more than enough.
I'll tell Alexandra, the key here especially is for our prisoners, let's make sure that they are in cryo and secured before we leave the system, or before the ship departs the planet.
yeah, she says, with your consent, sir, I'll also put, allocate just a few more officers to ensure that they're put into cryo and then have them withdraw to the colony. Like, basically, in other words,
Yeah.
basically just saying, like, just temporarily, like, allocate more people to help make sure they're secure and then just leave the 3 that you nominated to go into space.
Yes. Yes. Excellent.
So she just kind of, writes up more sort of orders for 2 other cops to join the early stage of the mission, just getting everyone ready to go. But so
To tuck them into bed. Yes.
pretty much, which Alexander does
And
say in response to that.
um, so out of character, when are the security reinforcements supposed to arrive at this point? Is it still like 6 months away?
Um, more closer to 3 months, because basically we're like, once this current sort of crisis is resolved, there's just a little bit more that goes on. Like, we're at the halfway point in this current cycle, and it's been almost a year total since you arrived at Terra Nova. So, basically, like, within 3 months, the reinforcements are going to get here. So,
Okay, great.
which could potentially be as early as this session. So,
So we don't know like an exact date that they're going to arrive. Like we don't know the status of the ship that they're on.
yeah, you can't quite track the ship, but you do have, like an estimated, like, arrival time, kind of like how, with, like, various mail couriers in the U.S., like, they give you a date, but sometimes it arrives earlier, sometimes it gets pushed back, kind of deal.
Okay.
So there's a relatively consistent pattern, but sometimes they're off by, like, anywhere between, like, a day to a week.
Okay.
But it's in the 3-month timeline, so
Correct.
it'll be soon enough. It'll be soon
Yeah.
enough.
I mean, ideally, we would send the people back on that ship, or send our guests back on that ship, but I just don't want to wait that long.
Yes.
So with the plans for the observer locked in, I think we will shift to interrogating in a friendly way,
Questioning.
Jennifer.
As you say, Sheriff.
Um, So yeah, before that goes on, I just want to ask, so El Presidente and or Richard, do you guys want to be doing anything separate, or do you want to be participating or at least viewing the questioning?
Yeah, I'll watch.
The main question for me is, would I know the information about the people that have arrived?
Well, you do know that they arrived in a Yutani lifeboat and were wearing Yutani fatigues, so it's not much of a stretch to assume they came from the Yutani Corporation. But um, like basically like the full specifics of Jennifer's story, I think that largely depends on because I think it was just initially Albert, and then Albert let El Presidente and Conrad in on what Jennifer told him. So I guess it's a question of would
Mhm.
any of those three let you in on it, which that's up to them. So, which I'd encourage for the sake of not alienating a player, but
Yes, Conrad will probably be like, I think that our I think that Simone is trustworthy enough, and
Simone.
Simone.
well, both.
We're talking about Richard.
Both.
Close enough.
I'm getting to both.
Sparrow.
I'm getting to both, but I think Simone is trustworthy enough. I think that she could also be present if she gets good ideas to ask and see things that we do not.
Yeah, I'll say
But
that if
also,
she'll be there as an NPC, just so like if Emily shows up, then she's not out of the loop as to what's going on.
oh, sorry, I didn't see the call. She wasn't there. Oh God. Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry
the whole
about
question
that.
was
Yeah.
about Richard.
Yeah, but I was going like to include them both so that
Oh,
all
okay.
PCs, but I didn't see she wasn't in the call.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. So
Well, so I mean, I feel like we should keep information security. Like Richard, like we know he was kind of sent by the company, but he's just like a guard, right? Like a
yeah,
security
he's
officer.
part of your security force. So
I mean, I would, unless there's a specific reason to include him, like I would include Emily because she's part of the council, but Richard is not. So I mean, like
As
I
you,
understand he's a
as you say,
PC, but
Sheriff. As you say, Sheriff, for security
well, it's
reasons, I
just
would.
I mean the counter argument I'll make though is that like like I said, like he is part of the security team and he is fully loyal to the company. So there's not really a security
oh, that's
risk of
true.
him like telling Yutani because he
Mhm.
is basically as an android, he's property of Weyland, hard coded for loyalty to Weyland, and by extension to you. So
Yes.
Yes, his mission is very Wayland centric and
yeah, like he's here.
has
He's
a
he,
level of
basically here to
clearances we
safeguard
do
the
not.
colony. So
Oh, I guess
Yeah.
okay. So I guess yeah, we can be like, well, we're doing this for the benefit of the company, so no reason not to include it.
Absolutely. I would have to inform him either way, sooner or later, for the people he
because it's like
needs
if you
to
were
report
keeping
to.
secrets from him, that arguably would do more harm than good. So
Right.
Yeah, especially like if I was to send a report, like, so they questioned this person that showed up in a Yutani fatigue. So I don't know what's going on with that. Just keep your heads up.
So
yeah,
I mean,
so do we know that you're like reporting back on what's going on?
Conrad will just say that even though he's not a council member, his mission, you can call it a special operation that needs him to be present for even stuff as important as our council meetings. So that Conrad is privy to that it's top security from the Wayland
yeah,
side.
that's a good analogy, especially because with the council meetings, like he's not part of the council, but I mean as not only security but also sort of a I guess like foreign ambassador kind of like
Mhm.
Exactly.
he's just
He's
there
a
to
corporate
supervise.
commissar.
Yeah, he's there to supervise and just make sure that everything is in accordance with like company protocol, and it's
Company
like if
policies and
yeah, so just make sure that yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
and if something weird
he's
goes on, I report to above the person that you guys report to.
he's an observer and supposed unbiased third party. Since we are all here connected, he is the third party that needs to know what's happening and give confirmation of what's objectively going on. So that's why
Okay.
I recommend him being close to us.
Okay. I'm fine with that. I will say one of the first things I want to do with the Yutani people is I want to destroy like any evidence sort of that they're linked to Yutani. So like I want them to get rid of their old uniforms. We'll give them Weyland uniforms. We'll like burn the old uniforms.
Okay.
Basically try to hide as much as possible who they are.
Okay.
Or even
Sneaky.
still, I would suggest putting them on dead bodies that we had buried.
Yeah, if
That
we can
might-
do that, then
yes.
that's fine. But I
Yeah,
mean, we just get rid of
because-
we just get rid of the uniforms, right? Like I don't even, yeah, we don't even want to have them.
Yeah, because I mean, you could
Yeah,
always
well,
just burn the uniforms and then say that you buried well, although the bodies would still be kind of intact, unless you cremated them. But
Yeah,
we'll
we
say
can
we
just
cremated the bodies.
okay.
Well, with Presidente, I think cremation of the previous dead marauders and everything, I think that makes more sense.
We
Oh, no,
cremated them and used them for fertilizer.
No. Yeah, we gave. I forgot. We
Oh,
gave the
Jesus.
bodies. We gave the bodies back to them as a sign of goodwill.
Well, the Russians, yeah, but as for the
Yeah.
drug dealers, it wasn't really.
Exactly. The drug dealer. They could be our stand-ins for the dead. The dead Yutani people.
Okay.
Yes.
So you basically try to cover that up, and then you get them new uniforms. And then what are you doing? I mean, questioning, I take it then, or is there anybody wants to do
yeah,
do
we can
first?
go to the question.
Okay.
Want
So
to move this along?
yeah, sure. So Jennifer, there she is, just kind of sitting in the interrogation, or no, I mean, again, quote unquote interrogation room, but basically just like a meeting room, sitting there, just kind of batting her thumbs together, just kind of waiting for somebody to walk in, and then in you come, and then Conrad, are you also entering the room, or are you just going to kind of stay outside and observe with El Presidente?
He's going to be in the room and standing in a corner, literally.
Okay, just kind of leaning up against the wall.
Yes. He plans to leave the questioning, of course, to Albert, but when he gets in, he's just right away going to say, "Sorry to keep you waiting, Jennifer. We had to make sure that everything is set up, that all the plans are going through accordingly and timely. We shall be quick to help you get you on your way after we just verify some information. I just want you to know that you are completely safe here. Everything will be completely fine.
And
There's no need to worry."
she
And can
says,
I
well,
can I try my trustworthy manipulation on her so that she can?
well, let me ask this question first, and then
Okay.
and then I'll let you do it. Well, she says, so does this mean that you are, putting together a ship that can help my colleagues and I get out of here?
He looks over to Albert and he's like, "Yes, we are. If what you say is true, which I believe it will be, just for us to
Okay.
have this
So
conversation with you again. But yes, we are
trustworthy
planning to help
is
you.
you just, I mean, is it a
Plus the
specific sort of
manipulation.
ability? Oh, okay. Well then, roll your manipulation.
Yeah, it trustworthy is that you have a trusting face and smile. Like, look at that profile picture on Conrad. Doesn't he have a trusting little smile? And people warm to you. You get a +2 modification to manipulation test whenever you're trying to gain someone's trust. I'm
Is
basically
that
trying to gain her
now?
trust
Is that
and calm her
opposed?
down. It doesn't say. It doesn't
Okay,
say,
I'm going to
but
assume that it probably is.
makes complete sense.
So sorry. So I'm going to do her roll, and then you do yours.
All right.
Okay. I'll let you know that that alone is sufficient. If you want to push, you can, but okay. Well, 2d6. That is, hold on, because I remember you had that macro. So 4 plus your 1 stress is 5. 5 is loud noise. You speak with, like, you get a little carried away. You speak with an outdoor voice inside, and that is going to cause 1 stress for you and Albert and Jennifer, realistically, but she's not a PC, so.
I'm just gonna sit in the corner. I'll like pull up a chair and then sit and lean back, just watching. If she asks any questions, I'll answer them, but otherwise, I'm just gonna sit there
Okay.
as far away, just observing.
Okay.
Not
Connor just being
menacing or anything.
loud,
I'm just
like,
Yeah.
flat-faced.
Just
Just
spectating.
Just sitting there watching.
yeah,
So
we are
like
all
full-on security
trustworthy.
detail and everything, and I'm just sitting there.
yeah, and then meanwhile, there's Jennifer kind of leaning back in her chair, sort of grimacing, recoiling back as you're like shouting. So,
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Do you
um,
understand the words coming out of my mouth?
Hope the explosion didn't cause any hearing damage.
all right. So she, despite your rather loud, bombastic kind of demeanor and way of being, she does say, well, um, I'm sure you have questions, and I mean, the sooner you ask, the sooner I answer, and the sooner I'm out of here. So, what's on your mind?
Sheriff?
Yes, I have a couple questions. So first, we just need to verify that the information you're providing is legitimate. We are preparing a ship, but before we make that investment of resources, we need to be confident what you're telling us, or you've got what you're telling us you've got.
So, what she does is she says, "Do you have any kind of like she pulls she has like those pants that have kind of larger pockets on like the thighs,
Cargo pants?
like so something like that, or like like worker overalls that would have some sort of like larger storage patch." So she pulls out the encrypted like data drive that she has and basically asks like, "Do you have any kind of um computer, like basically like a laptop or a PDAT or something that I can put this in?"
I always carry one around with me. If you want
Okay.
to show us on that.
So she says, now, like I said before, um, you know, just for my own protection, and you agreed to this before, that I won't, I'll only divulge the full 9 yards to your superiors, but I will show you some of what we have uncovered. Um, and
Understood.
so she takes the laptop. She gets the drive. I mean, I'm not sure what those like, whether it's like a password or something. Like basically, like she enters some sort of like security key or fingerprint lock or whatever the fuck in this futuristic setting. The information she has is like she gives a bit of a demo. There is definitely stuff like, as a reminder, for those of you watching at home, that basically what she was describing was like, synthetic R&D and like, you know, the plan to reverse engineer Weyland blueprints and make like sleeper agents and stuff. So there is definitely some interesting stuff regarding Yutani synthetic R&D, like blueprints and status updates and stuff. Um, there is not hard evidence of the conspiracy itself, but there is definitely content that goes along with her story, if that makes sense.
So far, it seems to be checking out. Yes, this is incomplete, but I understand that you want to save the most important parts for representatives off-world, somewhere safer. So
Yes.
this is enough to convince me. This will be useful to the company either way.
Yes,
Do I
and
recognize Do I recognize any of the schematics?
Well, hold on, let Albert go first.
I was just gonna say that like I don't know, I don't think I would say this, but in my mind I'm thinking that even if they don't have proof of this conspiracy, the research data on what Weyland or what Yutani is doing on synthetics alone is valuable.
Yes. So, um, I mean, like, and keep in mind that basically she's giving you half of the information up front, and the other half is basically like once she's out of here. Um, so basically once that point is made, and then also as for Richard, as for the schematics, no.
That's
Whether
all I
these are
needed
from
to
a
know.
model that you don't recognize, or even if it's just like a completely different sort of frame or framework, or however else you'd want to describe it. Like
Yeah.
basically, it's yeah. Long story short, it's not familiar to you.
Yeah, I have no idea what it is, but I do
Sure.
recognize it as synthetic.
Yeah, they're definitely synthetic blueprints. It's just for a model that you're not familiar with.
Gotcha.
So there's that. She shows you that, and then once the proof has been presented to everybody, and I would say El Presidente, you would, I mean, if you're spectating, you would be able to get a glimpse of this and kind of see what's going on. And
Okay.
once she sort of, rotates the laptop around the briefing room, then she takes the drive out, puts it back in its case, and sticks it back in her pocket. So she says, I hope that is sufficient.
I mean, she could have fucking Super Mario on there, to be completely fair.
Yes, but she feels that she is in danger, and I understand the need for a bargaining position. Giving half now and half the other half later seems like the best compromise we can get. I'm not thrilled that it has to be this way, but I
Well,
fully
just
understand her.
yeah.
Honestly, if I was in your position, Ms. Jennifer, I would do the same. So
Well, yeah, and then just as a reminder why she's doing that way, and I believe she voiced this, the fear of like, what if I, gave you the full 9 yards, you got what you wanted, then you just hand me over to Yutani anyway, kind of deal. Like she's basically the reason why she's playing like the really valuable cards close to the chest is to avoid that.
Well, to be completely
And plus-
fair, I mean, if we had that intel, they don't want us to have that, or at minimum, they want to have it instead, you know,
They as in Yutani, or they as in Jennifer and her crew?
as in Yutani.
Oh, that is true.
she's just, I presume she's just worried that we'd try to sell them back the information to safeguard the colony from any incursion of them, etc., etc.
Can
After,
I do a
after,
manipulation roll to make sure to see if she's deceiving us?
Sure. Well, I mean, on second, well, the thing is though, is that I mean, she did just show you a bunch of evidence, so I mean, it begs the question of whether you believe it.
Right. Well, I'm trying to just assess like her attitude, whether she's like, you know, she could provide some data, but just I want to assess like how she's behaving. Like, do I notice anything suspicious about how she's behaving?
Yeah, sure, just do an opposed manipulation.
Do I get a bonus from because I have people with me?
Well, the problem is if it's more of like a personal observation than anything
Okay,
else.
then it's space. Okay.
Yeah. So no, like you have people on your side kind of modifiers.
oh,
Okay, do you want to push or leave it?
I'll leave it.
Okay. Yeah, you don't. I mean, if there is anything, you know, scheming going on, below, like beneath the surface, then you're not able to pick up on it. She definitely does seem kind of uneasy and like skittish, I guess. Like I mean, she very much wants to get out. There's a sense of urgency in her demeanor. Like I said, like she's kind of twiddling with her thumbs and just sort of seems ready to get up and go the moment you say, "All right, let's get out of here." I mean, it obviously checks out with her reasoning for it, but basically, if there's anything else motivating her, then you're not picking up on anything. And again, that's if. So.
Okay.
I
I mean,
would
would
go over
I
to-
expect her to feel that way, and that's consistent with
Yeah,
her
it's a
story.
completely understandable, completely believable and understandable behavior in her situation.
Yeah. So my second question here is gonna be, can she provide us with any information about how to detect these synthetics if Yutani was gonna try to infiltrate our colony?
She says, I'm just thinking it over because I admittedly didn't really have an answer at the time, but I guess it probably Yutani synthetics, if based on Weyland synthetics, and they have lubrication fluid instead of blood. If there was ever whatchamacallit, like basically the same sort of rules for detecting androids in Weyland would apply, and similarly to how like Richard, for example, has a quote unquote Wi-Fi that would let, like, if he has his quote unquote Wi-Fi enabled, then he can detect other androids with theirs enabled.
Well, I would assume if they're infiltration, they wouldn't have theirs enabled.
Well, the thing is that if they do have theirs enabled, they can potentially use that to try to link up with Mother or find other androids or like locate their compatriots if say two androids were in the same colony.
The ace in our hole is that nobody knows that we have such a sophisticated artificial person with us, like Sparrow.
Now the question is, do you say that out loud?
Yes, that is a good question indeed.
I definitely hush it over to
Because keep in
Albert.
mind
I
that now,
whisper it
granted,
to
she
him.
doesn't. I don't think Jennifer was properly acquainted with Richard. So if you just mentioned,
No.
Sparrow, as long as nobody points out like, oh, that's him over there, or why are you saying that when he's in the room? Then there's technically no harm in that.
Well, he would probably have like a name tag on him if he's in uniform, right?
True.
She doesn't have to look. She's not looking
It
close
could be
at it.
just Richard.
Yeah, you could say Richard as well.
Yeah, Richard. I'll just say, well, they don't know our the Yutani wouldn't know the full circumstances of our colony and our defensive capabilities. So we do have ways to.
Yeah, like, but she's basically
outsmart them.
it says like any way that you would be able to detect a Weyland android would undoubtedly work on a Yutani reverse engineered android.
Okay. And how close was this project to completion? Months, years?
There wasn't an exact date. It was basically like, because the problem is that Jennifer, like, she and her crew basically caught onto the plan, but she didn't know how long it was in development. Like, that information was not on file. It was basically just a rumor. Like, and when I say a rumor, I don't necessarily mean like just office gossip. I mean, it was like there was serious evidence to go along with it. But the thing is that she didn't have the complete puzzle. She has enough evidence to incriminate Yutani, but she doesn't have the full, like, the complete picture. So she unfortunately does not have an answer on that.
Okay, my questions are done. I don't know.
Yeah, if El Presidente or Albert
Conrad,
or
do you have
Conrad,
anything further?
No, that was thorough enough, Sheriff. Thank you for the questions.
Before we let her go, I'll whisper in Conrad's ears, like, do we want to send a message to my friend to inform them that she is coming, or what do we want to do?
We shall be writing up a report. I will see if official to Ashby or to your side later after we board them on the ship. We shall send it. It'll take time for them to.
Yeah, because
get
keep
there
in
anyway.
mind that you're not sending her directly to Earth. You're sending her to the colony that Albert was previously stationed at, because he has contacts there that can handle it further.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
we shall definitely report to someone up the chain. We'll discuss further which is better.
yeah,
fair
and
enough.
I mean,
just figured
and
we
here's the
inform
easiest
them
method.
that way. It's the
Oh, yeah,
arrival of them that way to give them a heads up, saying, "Hey, keep an eye on them."
Well, here's what I would suggest, and because this is like an easy in character suggestion that like any of the Alexandra, for example, could give. So, first of all, the fact that you have a bunch of people on a Sieg and ship coming to a Weyland colony, it's not like a political rival or military target. They're not going to just instantly open fire on it. And the other thing is, like, Albert could easily have like digitally or handwritten orders presented by one of the security officers explaining the situation, saying like, "Hey, this is a capture like this is a ship that infiltrated the colony. We have Yutani refugees and Siegs and prisoners. We need to get them to up the chain of command," kind of deal.
So I was actually thinking about that. Basically, if I already have contacts with someone on this colony, then based on my backstory, I think we would probably have like a shorthand way of communicating with each other. So I was thinking about sending a message basically that looked innocuous, but like actually communicated kind of what was going on to my Ruby colony contact.
Okay. Yeah, that works too.
And then, yeah,
that
we
should
could
be
also
good
have
enough.
like an encoded, like secure hard copy or whatever on the ship.
Of your order to the Ruby colony, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, we'd probably want like a formal report, right? That would be
Yes, yes.
passed on to headquarters.
Yes, we can put one on a hard drive like that on the ship as well. But yeah, you can doubly just send it out encrypted from here. But yeah, having it there officially to be seen by whoever greets them there at the shipping the docking yard. Yeah, that would be more than enough. Mr. Administrator, do you have any other questions for our guests here?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nothing comes to mind.
Are you satisfied with letting them proceed?
I would say so.
Understood,
I
Mr.
just
Presidente.
imagine like the silhouette of basically Fidel Castro standing in the doorway, like smoke coming off of his endless cigar.
Just the glint of his sunglasses in the
Yeah.
shadow.
Yeah. Like that's the only light on his entire silhouette. Just the reflection of his shades. or no, it's the light of his cigar like menacingly lighting up his face a little bit.
Like he's telling a scary story.
Yeah, dude, like flashlight under his chin thing, and it's just like the cigar just ominously lighting up this man's face. So, um, anyway,
Well then, Jennifer, you and your friends can be on your way. I think we are all satisfied with the answers and evidence you provided. Everything is being set up, and you should be able to shortly get into cryo and put this whole thing behind you.
she's already getting up as she says, like, "Oh, splendid, thank you." How
No
soon
worries.
until the ship is ready to depart?
What do you say, Albert? How fast do you think they'll be ready? As an out of game question, how fast do we think this is going? What should we tell her? Like in a few hours?
Yeah, it would probably be. I mean, because you figure it's like just you have to. The ship was probably already loaded with like cryogenically like preserved food and stuff like that. Um, and then like it can be, it's already being refueled as you're discussing this, like as you're having this conversation with Jennifer. Um, you can also, I mean, like most of it is just refueling the ship, and then like the crew members getting their belongings together and handling
Mhm.
any unfinished business, like if there's any like work they have to do or that kind of thing. So like
So
basically the crew will be ready. Crew will be ready to leave at the end of the day. So
that's exactly then what it's telling her. Shortly, in a few hours, by the end of the day, you will be off of this rock.
good. So with that, I take it the questioning is adjourned.
I don't have anything else.
Okay, it doesn't seem like that's the case.
Seems so.
So before Jennifer and her companions depart, because there's a couple hours before the observer is ready to cast off, is there anything anybody else wants to do? Any conversations you want to have with any specific characters or?
Hmm. I do ask Richard about the situation regarding who do we just leave it to Albert's official contacts he has on Ruby Colony, or does he want to report this directly to his higher-ups, or do we want to wait until the ship comes and then report to them? What does he think would be the best
Well,
option there?
If I may chime in, just keep in mind that the ship speed and the transmission speed might not be perfectly in sync.
Oh, absolutely.
So it'd be in your best interest to just get a transmission sent out like as soon as possible. So Ashby or the contact at Ruby Colony, or preferably both, are aware of what's going on.
I would suggest sending a message letting the higher individuals know. If Ashby needs to know, we can let him know. But otherwise, I suggest kind of leaving him out of loop because she wants to report to the highest person possible.
Well, she's not
that way-
reporting directly to Peter Weyland. She's just basically like whoever
Yeah.
is above you, like outside the colony, is who I need to report to. And Ashby would be the sector administrator, so he's probably your best bet.
Okay. Okay, then yeah. We
Okay.
can send a message to Ashby and let him know.
Okay, we'll do then that both. Albert will probably contact his person. I will write an official report to Ashby while this is getting prepped then.
Okay, so you're doing that. Richard is also reporting to his superior. So El Presidente and Albert, are you guys doing anything of note, of interest?
I think I'm gonna go have a conversation with Albert.
Oh, okay.
See if I can
Things are getting
find him.
spicy.
Find him when he's not busy.
Are you going to try to meet him in his office, or are you going to just call him and say, hey, let's go meet at the bar, kind of thing? Or even call him into your office? Like, what do you want to do?
I think I'm gonna call him into my office. Just like a very small, petty power move.
Say, I don't report to you, you report to me. But anyway, so, all right, so, Albert, you get a phone call from El Presidesperado. Ring, 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 ring.
Okay. Hello?
I'd like you to come meet me in my office for a moment.
Very well. I'll be there momentarily.
Okay, so, a quick, like, it's like camera, like, flip around move, and the next thing you know, Albert's making his way to command center. El Presidente, I'm assuming, lets him in, and what are you guys doing?
What did you want to talk about?
Please take a seat. This may take just a moment.
Very well.
Oh
I'm loving
shit!
this
Well,
already.
I'm very interested in what's going on here. Oh god.
Yes, I sit down. Fine.
So, I feel it is wise to inform you there will be a small colonial marine force.
Well, quick correction. I know what you're saying. It would not be Colonial Marines. It would be U.S. Army.
Oh,
Because
a
the Colonial
small.
Marines don't exist yet.
Okay. A small U.S. military force, no more than 5. Oh, it was 5, right, Cody?
It was 9. 9 in the U.S. Army, at least currently, 9 is
Okay.
the size of a squad. So
No more than 9 will be joining us, and that is for, of course, the security of the colony. Now, this is naturally not a statement of distrust towards the security team by any means. However, they will be under my direct supervision. But I felt it wise to inform you of this, and you are the first I have informed of this, and perhaps the only individual that will know their true purpose here.
What's their true purpose here?
Well, to keep order in the colony. We've had quite a few issues as of late, and the security team taken a lot of casualties. I felt it wise to have a heavier armed and more experienced force at our disposal. Now, for political purposes, their cover story is essentially they're waiting for a connecting flight to another far off colonial holding. So they're not officially here on security business. Felt it wise to inform you of this.
Okay. How long do
Hopefully
you
we
think
can
that
avoid
cover
any-
story is going to stand up?
As long as it needs to. Space travel takes a very long time. Nobody's going to be suspicious that the military administration wanted to save a lot of money on a cheap connecting flight. You know, Spirit space lines, they're not of the greatest quality, but they are cheap.
So I'm gonna raise my eyebrow at that. It's like we don't have our only regular transportation is back to Earth of our with our mining ores. I don't know that people are going to buy that. We're expecting a transport from another colony. Why wouldn't the ship that transports these troops just directly go to that colony?
Whether they buy it or not isn't truly important, as long as that's what it is on paper.
Okay.
It is best to keep that under wraps, at least for now.
And you've gotten Ashby's approval for this?
I'm sure it wouldn't be difficult.
By that you mean no?
Not at the moment, though. As we all know, Ashby naturally has things he's keeping from us, particularly things that are dangerous to us, and perhaps even more so to you being in your security position. So I don't suppose it'll be the greatest issue, especially if this keeps things running smoothly. If anything, our employers not having to pay the wages of these, we'll say, supplementary security personnel would be only a benefit.
I'm gonna ask. So how is this connected to our recent supply shortage?
Well, we have had to construct a barracks that shouldn't be too impactful on the recent supply shortage. However, it is, I suppose, a small colony. When they depart, this structure will, of course, still be of use. It could be converted into housing or any other number of things.
Interesting. Why have you felt the need to keep this information confidential? If they'll if the purpose is to protect the colony, as you say, why the need for the subterfuge?
Well, that's sort of the reason that I'm telling you first and perhaps exclusively. I fear that this may not be the end of sketchy activities, we'll say, in colonial leadership. We have had a massive turnover of leadership. And there are, of course, as we have seen with the previous leadership, a lot of potential for corruption. Now, again, that is, of course, not to say that I suspect anyone, but having a separate force that is, we'll say, at least nominally neutral is certainly a utility in this case.
Interesting. How did you convince the military to dedicate these troops to us?
Well, it's quite simple. If we are successful in our economic ventures, then they benefit. This is a mining colony. These materials are strategically important. I've also convinced them to, as you heard in the recent meeting, dedicate more mining equipment to sort of give us more of an edge with the staff we currently have. So these two things go hand in hand.
So you're planning to set up a contract with the military to supply them with military materials and supplies?
Well, they're already a massive purchaser. Though having a more direct relationship, everything will continue to be sold at the same price, or perhaps even higher. Have secured some subsidies as well, as previously mentioned. But I see no issue in supplying these raw resources. Naturally, of course, the military, in buying from outer colonies, they have, of course, shell companies that they're not officially government related, but, well, that's not all that important.
Interesting. Well, you should also know that Weyland is assigning an additional security personnel to the colony. We expect them within the next few months.
Oh, excellent. We'll be more secure than ever. Is that in addition to the personnel we had requested previously?
Out of character, I don't know.
So you requested more security personnel in the wake. Well, and so admittedly, this was sort of like out of sequence information, but by this point, I mean, I'll just roll with it. So you would have gotten an email that basically says, like, courtesy of the previous marshal, he put in a requisition request for more personnel, and it was approved, and those personnel are going to be part of the 10th pilgrimage. The problem is that he originally put it in like while the 9th, aka you guys, were already in transit, so the request wasn't able to be fulfilled. But by this point, now that another colony ship is coming in, they're going to be bringing in more people, including more security team members.
I see. So they're sort of all going to be on the same ship, the replacements that we requested and the additional personnel that were requested by the previous sheriff?
Well, so the U.S. Army personnel that you were talking about are not part of the pilgrimage. They're going to be coming separately.
Yeah, I mean, the request that we put in when we went into administration to replace.
This group would have already left before we got in the position to make any requests, is what he's saying. right?
Yes.
Because Wolf Jones made the request.
Yeah.
I see. So they may arrive within the same cycle, but not as part of the
Well,
same.
okay. So let me break it down like this: the U.S. Army personnel are potentially arriving between right now and the 10th. The new security, like the actual security team personnel, are arriving on the 10th.
Okay.
Does that clear it up?
Yeah.
And then also your the order for the helicopter and the missile batteries; those are not arriving as part of the 10th. They're going to be similar to the U.S. Army personnel. They're going to be arriving between now and the 10th. So the two main deliveries you have going on right now are within the same sort of time span.
Mm-hmm.
So
What about the group of the group that we had initially asked for? Outside of the security personnel that were requested by the previous sheriff, like when we had all those casualties, when are those supposed to
those are
arrive?
the casualties. Those are replacements for those are part of the 10th pilgrimage.
Okay.
Like basically, so let me put it this way: so you had taken a bunch of casualties. Wolf Jones had put in a requisition request for more security personnel in the 10th. That request was approved, and that like basically Albert got a message at one point. I'll just spoil this for context. So basically, just long story short, Ashby was letting Albert know like, hey, your request has been approved. Well, or rather, Wolf's request was approved, and I'm just letting you know that this is happening. So, just to, like basically letting you know like you're going to be getting security personnel in the 10th pilgrimage. So
And we expect the 10th pilgrimage to arrive within the next 3 months.
correct. Like at the end of the cycle is when it's going to arrive. So
right.
basically,
So
they're
if there's an additional shipment, it would arrive either after the 10th or in the 11th pilgrimage, right?
well, if you were ordering additional security personnel on top of what you're ordering, like basically the only two groups of additional personnel you are getting in the like immediately the short term, the U.S. Army squad, and then the 10th pilgrimage. There is no third group.
Right. We're just getting the supplies, the missile battery and stuff. That would be after
Yeah,
the 10th pilgrimage.
well, that would actually be before the 10th because you ordered it not that long ago. The reason the 10th takes so long is because it's a colony ship that has to go from Terra Nova to Earth, has to load up a bunch of people, and then go back to Terra Nova. Like the total journey
Okay.
takes about basically a year, like back and forth. But smaller shipments don't really require as much time to set up. Uh, so in this case, it doesn't take as long. It's basically like a 6-month transit.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Anyway, we're getting a bunch more security personnel.
Yeah. So, okay, is there anything else you're discussing?
I don't think I have any more questions.
Okay, so if that is the case, well, is that all you want to discuss, El Presidente?
That was all.
Okay, so I just messaged Conrad letting him know that the spoiler chat is done. What the
And I am back.
Oh, hold on. Oh, that's just the stuff from the last.
Yeah. I'll delete the things, don't worry.
All right. I was just wondering what the hell was going on there because I saw all this fucking shit up here that I forgot about. But
Oh yeah, that's a throwback.
so anyway, with that scene addressed, so if there's nothing else that goes on, by the day's end, well, actually, and Richard, you said you were just filling out a report as well based on the questioning.
Yes.
Okay. Are you going to do anything else, or are you just going to spend the evening just kind of doing trivial tasks?
Trivial tasks, not
Okay.
really doing anything
Okay.
too important.
So, yeah. So basically, the ship is prepared. Jennifer and her colleagues, as well as the Sieg and prisoners, are rounded up and brought aboard the ship. And as Alexandra arranged, like a couple of extra security personnel are there just to make sure that like the transit goes or like the loading up of the ship goes as planned, and then once once they're all good to go, I'm gonna bring us over to the colony map for a sec. The two extra, like I'll say, it's fucking Lang and Shipanov who bid Riley, Brackett, and Engelhorn farewell, and the ship takes off and flies off into the sky, into the heavens above. So so that is all seemingly resolved. So the next day, is anybody like, how are you guys spending your day?
So has the observer departed at this point?
Yes, like basically, like I said, at the evening the observer has departed. I just described that it basically flew off into the heavens above. So because I mean you'd prepared the ship, it was ready to go, and all the prisoners
Right,
were,
right.
well, the prisoners and the people you were trying to get out. So okay. But yeah, I mean, as per the immediate day after the departure of the observer, what are you guys up to?
Hmm. I need
I
to check
think
my notes.
well, mainly I would be working on the plans. Like I would be writing the reports and stuff for the security measures I want to fund,
Yeah, you're writing
basically.
Ashby.
Yeah, I'm like writing up the reports and laying out all the details and holding a bunch of meetings and stuff, so we don't have to role play any of that. But that's what I would be
Okay, yeah,
doing.
I just wanted a sense of what everybody's up to. So, um, like, so I mean, so basically, just for like the next few days in general, is that the kind of vibe that people are doing of just like filling out reports, or is there anything specific anybody wants to do? Any conversations you want to have, either with other PCs or with NPCs?
I
Um,
got nothing.
Okay.
I think I would want to
can't.
talk to Richard.
Okay.
Ooh.
Interesting. So, and I'm just dragging the usual PC crowd back here and going to please. All right. So, um, yeah. So Richard, you get summoned to your boss's office, and what are you guys discussing?
I'm just standing at attention in front of his desk until I'm told anyone otherwise.
So I'll say, yes, you can have a seat. This is a little more informal.
Oh, okay. What
I'd
can I
like
do
to
for you?
yes, I'd like to. Obviously, it's important for me that I can trust the loyalty of everyone on my staff. I understand that we all have a duty to the company, especially you in your position. And I'd like to just understand exactly what your mission is here, beyond your, shall we call it, your day job on the security staff.
Well, simply put, is that as long as the administration currently is fulfilling their roles and keeping the colony on track and producing, I don't interfere. I report back to my superior, informing them that everything is going according perfectly fine until otherwise deemed necessary.
What would cause you to deem it necessary?
Things that deviate from standard operating procedures, anything that well is of great importance to the colony so as to keep the higher ups informed so as if Ashby does not press along the information, they still receive it.
Do you report to Ashby or someone else?
I report above Ashby.
Sorry, what'd you say? I didn't hear.
I report above Ashby. He
Okay.
doesn't even know I'm here, essentially, unless Conrad told him.
Eh,
Hmm. I wonder why the sudden curiosity.
Very well. I understand. It may be necessary for me to converse directly or send messages directly to your superior in the future. I don't have anything for you at the moment, but I just wanted to make you aware of that.
Very well. If you have some important information, I will pass it along.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, so is
If
that the
there's
end of that
nothing
meeting?
else, sir, I will return back to my duties.
Please do so. Thank you.
And then he just walks out like nothing
yes,
happened.
Okay. So for Conrad and/or El Desperado, what are you two doing during the next few days, if anything substantial?
Conrad is doing official reports, but also beyond that, he's just watching over each district, just appearing in the most inconspicuous moments, just there with his notepad and writing down stuff, making sure that he's seen out and about, not just in his office. So he's going from one place to another, watching like a hawk always. But in the meantime, he also just kind of checks up on Garvey if he's all right, if he has any new gossip, interesting things to share. If he doesn't, then yeah, we don't have to really role play it. He'll just buy a beer, give his twice the price payout,
Right.
and that's it. But if there's anything interesting, yeah, he'll always have an
Uh,
ear open to it
right.
and be privy.
Well, he says nothing substantial, or nothing that you probably haven't heard about, other than like the ship. But um, I will say, while you were at the bar, and this is something that you know, um, like Albert and El Presidente in particular would be notified of. Um, where is it? So the same in-system sensor that picked up the arrival of the lifeboat actually detects a ship with its transponder active. Unbeknownst to Conrad, I'm just mentioning, like, while Conrad is in the bar doing this is something that El Presidente and Albert get notified of. And the ship.
Sorry, what?
So there's a ship entering orbit of the planet.
Okay, great.
Which was basically detected by the same sensor that picked up the lifeboat. It is a ship called the Aku o Asoranai, which is Japanese for Fear No Evil, which is registered under the Yutani Corporation.
Oh boy.
Yes. So, um, that does beg a question, actually, because I mean, this is the shame on me for not asking sooner. Did you go through with your plan of like airlifting the escape pod out and sending it to one of the moons?
That
Or
was
did
the
you?
plan last time.
Okay.
Last time, yeah, they were
We
talking
had
about it.
ordered it, we just didn't discuss it. So
Okay.
He
Well, I
kind of
mean, if you.
assumed we just did
Okay.
it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm just doing that to refresh my own memory and make sure that you guys didn't change your mind. So, um, you do note though that the ship is staying in orbit over KOI-416D. But you do detect two smaller ships, namely drop shuttles. Um,
sorry,
heading.
what's it in orbit? Is that another planet or is that the moon?
So what is currently in orbit is the ship that just arrived. Like the ship that just arrived in the system, the Aku Osoranai, the Fear No Evil, that is hovering in orbit over the planet.
Okay.
Um, two smaller ships, in this case two drop shuttles, have launched from that main ship. One of them is heading towards the colony, and one of them is heading towards where the lifeboat was. So yeah, one of them, one of the shuttles is moving in. I would say, Conrad, you're probably none the wiser to this. I mean, you have your phone on you in case
Yep.
anybody wants to notify you, but um, El Presidente and Albert are definitively aware of this from the same sources that notified you earlier. And I mean, Richard, if you're summoned by Albert, then obviously you're in the loop.
Have we been have they responded to our communication hails?
Well, they yes. I mean, if you specifically hailed them, which I would assume so. the
I think that would be standard practice, right? If
yeah,
there's an unknown ship coming
yeah.
in.
So they do answer the hail. And the captain of the ship, admittedly didn't have a name for the captain, but he does say that this is the Akuo Soranai. We have reason to believe that fugitives have landed on your colony. A company representative and his bodyguards are en route to your spaceport.
Okay, I think
Basically, he will question you further.
Out of character, the last time, so we agreed to put the ship up in orbit. The cover story is that they crashed into the moon and died there, right?
Well, I think the plan was basically you guys said you were going to airlift the escape pod with the ore chariot, and then send it like on a collision, like send the escape pod like vent it out, and then send it on a collision course with the moon.
Yeah, that. So that's the cover story we talked about last time. We don't know much about it. We just know something crashed there, and we have nothing. We haven't seen them. We had nothing to do with it, right?
Well, that was the initial cover story. If they already know where it landed on the planet, we may have to modify that.
Well, they may just expect, since we're a colony here, they want to check it out. We'll see. We'll let them
Well,
talk
no,
first.
they're
But yeah,
sending
this is
two
out of
shuttles
character.
down. One is coming directly to our colony HQ. The other is going towards where the lifeboat landed. So it seems
Yeah.
like they at least have some level of understanding of where they think it may have landed on the planet.
Maybe they're just being precautious. But yeah, this is out of character since Conrad isn't there for the conversation, doesn't know. Yeah, we'll talk later about that.
So I mean, I think we would get everyone together in like the command center, and we would be discussing what's going on.
Well, I just want to
Probably in, like, a
clarify: are you
private
going
room.
to go to the, command staff, or are you going to go meet the representative at the spaceport?
Well, how much time do we have to talk among ourselves before they land in the
Probably
colony?
about like 15 minutes or so. I would wager. Like you have about a turn in game time, which is basically like 10 or so minutes, like 10 to 15. So
Okay, I think we would have a quick meeting in the administration district
okay,
just to get everyone in line before we
yeah, I'm
go
not
and
gonna
meet
bring
them.
us over to the map again. Just assume that you're there. So
So what I'll
Conrad's gonna
say is,
spit out his drink when he gets the message. Like, God damn, I was just getting ready for a comfortable drink. See you later, Gavi.
so what I'll say is, well, we may have to change our cover story here. They're sending a shuttle down to where the lifeboat landed, and it's possible they already know it landed there. If they do, we'll have to come up with a story of why we wrecked it on the moon. I think the easiest story is that we were concerned about, it having any contaminants or, leaking radiation or something of that nature, and we just decided to dispose of the ship because there were no
Exactly.
survivors.
If we have to pretend to be like stupid frontier folk, then that works.
Send them over to the Reynolds brothers, you mean, eh?
Oh
They'll deal with them.
They're the ones that got there, and yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Though, I mean, I was saying that as a joke. At the same time, they do know how to handle themselves, but on the other hand, they could literally start a war with the rival company.
start,
I do not want that.
the Reynolds Yutani War, the
That would
bloodiest but also shortest conflict of the fucking 21st century.
The
That'll
bloodiest
burn
war
least
all over
our
again.
problem conflict ever.
burn the galaxy to the core. Yeah, damn. Okay, I just don't want us to jump to conclusions. Maybe they are just coming here because it's the logical place that somebody's going for the colony. So they're maybe just checking. Let's better let them speak first and ask the questions. And only when we are sure that they have a reason to believe they are here, then reveal our cards and play the backup story of, yeah, nobody survived. We were worried about pathogens. That's a great idea, Albert. That pathogens are radiation. We just use the moon as our trash heap. We throw stuff on the moon not to contaminate anything near the planet. So that'll be it.
Yes.
We'll play coy. I'm
The lifeboat would
good
have
with that.
the lifeboat would have let's see, the ship that they were evacuating on was from a science station, right? So like we can just say like, hey, we were just concerned about introducing, foreign pathogens to the planet.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, is there anything else you are discussing, or is that the story you're going to stick with?
Well, my plan is to see what they say, and then if they really push us on like, hey, why'd you move the lifeboat, then we'll
Yeah.
use
Okay.
this story.
Yeah, I just want to make sure
Yeah.
that's all you were discussing. So,
Yes. Just be
um,
calm and trustworthy, and don't flinch.
okay.
Don't
So you
flinch.
all
Everything is going to be okay.
go to the starport, and I would say you probably get there just about the time that the drop shuttle is landing. Oh, sorry.
I have a question, like out of character. So I guess like how friendly or like I'm assuming that all of these corporations have lots of rivalries with each other, and so would the default assumption be like, yeah, we're not going to help you with anything, or would it be more friendly?
Well, I think it honestly kind of depends on the it's a per person basis, though, with the general assumption being like the higher up in the corporate ladder you are, the more cutthroat and ruthless you are because you have more invested and more to gain. Whereas if you're just small fry, then you're much more likely to be more receptive to other people, especially if it helps you, climb higher. So depending on how high level this representative that's coming is, as well as his general demeanor, as well as how you treat him, then you might be able to pursue this a little more diplomatically. It's definitely not a case where they're just going to show up and start shooting up the colony until they get what they want, but
Right.
um, it's not necessarily easily defined as a peaceful or hostile relationship, at least in the lower decks.
Okay.
Basically, they're not. I presume, since they're not a government, they have no jurisdiction on here. But they are basically saying, "Oh, you have property that belongs to us." So it's more of a tense-fueled, like friendly standoff. How much are we willing to let them explore, and how much are we going to stand our ground and say, "No, you can't do anything here." It depends on what reaction we'll get from them in return and what they know. So, yeah, we just have to be
Well, I'll lay this
coy.
out. The worst thing they could possibly do to you, whether it's you specifically or Weyland Corp as like an entirety, is potentially sue. Like they obviously can't like arrest you. But it's like if, for example, you were holding on to, like, I mean, you obviously gave the disc, like Jennifer has the disc still. If there was evidence that
Yes.
you still had the disc, or you were harboring Jennifer still, or you downloaded a copy of the data, or whatever, like if there was evidence at your colony that strongly suggested that you stole from Yutani, they could sue.
When Jennifer showed us on my PDAT, that was just a show. Nothing was copied or
No, she
downloaded
didn't.
to
She
my
didn't
PDAT.
download
Okay.
it. It's basically the equivalent of like,
Okay.
Unless you downloaded a copy,
I
then no.
didn't. I didn't
she was the
specifically
one
for security
accessing
reasons.
she was the one accessing the computer anyway. So, basically it's equivalent of like putting a USB drive in. It opens up the file explorer
Yeah.
so you can see the contents, but it's not the same as like copying those contents onto your computer, if that makes sense.
So
Yes.
okay, so as the shuttle's coming down, I assume Conrad and I are waiting for them, and maybe like who else is there?
Well, I'm assuming El Presidente would be there as the
Yeah,
face of the colony. So,
yeah.
Of course.
So I think
um,
we would need to discuss among ourselves like who's going to take the lead here.
I am good with the diplomatic side of talks. If you need somebody to gain their trust, I'm okay with that. But if you want a more firm stance, then I delegate that to you all. But maybe we should kind of try good cop, bad cop, basically. Try first with a gentle approach and then be more stern with our demeanor if it is necessary, which I
By
believe
the
it will
way,
be.
sorry to cut you off for a second. I wanted to point, it's not a critical condition, but I did hear thunder and see lightning outside, so it's like, I don't anticipate it like taking me out instantly, but if it does, then if I just drop, then that's why. But
No problem.
it's not like a severe storm that would compel me to like call off the session, but just wanted you guys to know what's going on. So
Thanks for the heads up.
Yeah, so I think Zims, I would say, well, this seems to be a matter of intra-corporate diplomacy, so perhaps our corporate rep would be best equipped to handle their corporate rep. Do you agree, Arturo?
I think there's definitely something to that. I'll go along with him, and we'll see about handling that as a two-man team.
Absolutely. If my soft-spoken negotiations fall through, then your unique approaches might be more useful as our ace. I shall be the front man of this linguistic operation. Richard, I would ask you to join us for protection just in case, but I would implore you not to speak of anything just in
What are we
case.
talking about?
You basically accompany me for security reasons. Your back.
I understand. You didn't get the
Yes.
joke.
Oh. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous. We can do this. We can do
I
this.
can
Let's go.
tell.
One final point I'll make before they land. If they try to push things, Conrad, I recommend you remind them of ICC Admiralty rules on regarding ownership of salvaged wreckage or derelict spacecraft. In this case, there were no survivors, and therefore Yutani has no claim on the wreckage.
Completely
Understood.
correct. Thank you. All right.
okay, so
I think we should approach this primarily playing dumb.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We don't know what you're talking about. Everyone was dead. Let's see. Okay. Out of character. There was what? The one guy who was like crushed under a bunch of stuff, and then like everyone else survived.
yeah, there were 6 people, only one of them died.
Okay. So that guy. Well, I mean, we left him on the ship, right?
Yes, we
yeah.
left his we left his remains on the ship. Yeah.
So I mean, the angle that we can take with that is there were no survivors. They were cremated. There was one that was crushed under machinery in the shuttle. We couldn't get him out, so we disposed
Left
of
him
the
there,
ship
yeah.
along with him.
Yeah, for quarantine reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
Understood. Agreed.
Okay. So if that's what you're discussing, and then by this point the shuttle has landed,